Speaking of baseball, John Smoltz, he stopped by yesterday. We had a chance to talk to him. He, of course, is the lead analyst for Fox Baseball. He's a Hall of Famer as well. And I asked him, what is tougher to master, baseball or golf?
Golf. Yeah.
Why?
It's just, there's too many elements that, no teammates to bail you out, right? And you got to be fundamentally sound and mentally strong because there's always a weakness in some part of your game, and the golf course will find it, even if you try to stay away from it. So I've never been nervous, literally, in a baseball game, other than the first time I threw a pitch when I got signed. And in golf, I can play practice rounds with anybody. I'll play anybody because there's not the same pressure. When you get in a tournament, it's different.
But you've played with Tiger before.
Yeah.
No pressure?
No. You just know if you miss the green, you lose. I mean, and plus, I said something to Tiger, the same thing I said to Maddox in their sports. I said, Greg, how hard is it to pitch when it's 0-2 on every hitter? Like, seriously. But he got 0-2 on every hitter. That's what made him so special. And I told Tiger, I said, how hard is it to play golf when you know what club to hit every time? He said, his ability to be creative and just pure shots after, that's obviously why he's the greatest to ever play.
But also the ball isn't moving.
Right.
It's right there, and it almost paralyzes people, and it's not moving.
Well, professional golf ruins all casual golfers. Ruins them. Because they see the professional golfer stare at a 2-foot putt for about a minute and a half. They go through their routine. They're playing for tons of money. They're playing on incredible conditions. And then you watch the average golfer just try to do the same thing. And it does parallel. The longer you stay over the ball, the worse it gets, unless you're a professional. And so there is truth to the ball's not moving. And then you think about, if you have any negative thoughts, you're done. And then if you have anybody telling you, don't do this, you're done, because the brain only remembers don't hit it right, so you hit it right. And at least in baseball and on the mound, I controlled the tempo. I controlled the action. And I could take out certain aggression if I wanted to on the mound, where you can't do it on golf. The madder you get, the more intense, the more adrenaline. It's bad for golf. It can be good for other sports.
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago when Otani was coming back. And we thought, could you just have him for one inning and make him a closer as opposed to trying to move him along so he can get to 3 innings and then 4 innings and 5 innings. And I don't know if you run the risk more of Tommy John as a starter than you do a closer, but you were both.
Well, I can tell you this. Everyone thought it was going to be easier on my elbow when I went to the bullpen, and it was worse because you're up and you're getting hot all the time, and you don't always get in. I had 125, stop keeping track, 125 times I was up. In a season. I got into 78 games, so imagine all those other times that you don't get in because the score doesn't work. They score a run or either way. So it's got to be controlled. The problem with Otani is he could come up in the bottom of the 8th. So when does he warm up? So the 9th inning doesn't work as well as and you could make it that way where he could control the 9th inning, and let's say it's his day to pitch, and you're up by 6. So the closer's role.
Why are you adding logic to this? We're trying to go viral here. That Smoltz says Otani should be a closer.
I'll tell you this: there is a greater possibility that could happen in the postseason than a regular season game. So I think there's things that can be worked out. He's such a freak of nature that I probably wouldn't take him long to get ready. He's so athletic. I did the last game. Everything about him looks great on the mound, and I know I take grief no matter what I say because there's people on the other side, right? So that's why I don't have any social media. But I gave him the ultimate compliment I could give somebody, and believe me, they got on me for this because they didn't understand what I was saying. I said, it's hypothetical. It'll never happen. If he never hits for 1 year and just pitches, he'll be the best pitcher in baseball, period, hands down. It's not even a debate. He's trying to navigate one of the greatest hitters of all time and trying to pitch. He's got so many things and so many balls in the air that he's trying to juggle. If all he did was concentrate on pitching, what my eyes see and what he's able to do, hands down. Now, Jacob deGrom was one of the best ever when he was healthy, and now that he's come back, and he had the part-time hit, like when he was in the National League. But all he had to do was think about pitching. And it's a tough job, but all you have to do is think about pitching. It's a lot easier than if you have to think about getting, batting practice, scouting reports. My back's a little tweak. I fouled one off my calf. All those things that never go into the play of a pitcher. And so I don't know if people thought I was slighting them or if I don't know. It doesn't matter.
You got off social media?
I've never been on it. I'm not, and there's a reason. I mean,
Is your wife on or your kids on?
No, my kids begged me forever, and now that they see some of the things they see, they go, "Dad, you were smart not getting on social media." Because
How does it not affect you?
Because I don't know. Somebody will tell me.
Okay.
But it's fine. They'll tell me like, "Hey, you're rooting for the Dodgers. Hey, you're rooting for the Yankees," or "Hey, you hate the Yankees," because I would meet those people. Like I would find a place and meet them and want to talk, see if they could say that to my face. Because that's the kind of person I am.
Oh, you would do that?
Oh, yeah. If I had social media, I would want to meet them somewhere.
Oh, that
would never work
that's
for me.
not good.
Yeah. So what I don't know, I don't care. And, I like people not knowing where I'm at.
You should talk to Joe Buck.
I have, and he and it's look, that industry, I get it. I've probably lost a whole great opportunities in things that could come about if I had social media, but I'm fine with it.
Has Aaron Judge graduated into, and I don't know the expression, but Bonzian?
Yes. Yeah, he's got called up to another league. That's
so
what we would say.
He's in with Barry Bonds now.
He is.
Is Otani in there?
Absolutely.
Anybody else in there?
I think Soto has the impact on a club that Bonds would have on a club. Soto's not going to put up the numbers that Bonds did, but when you talk about impact, him standing in a lineup and never swinging, making that club better, that's the Bonds effect.
Okay.
Because the guys before him are going to benefit because you don't want them on base and you don't want to face Barry Bonds with men on. And I think that's the same thing. What Judge has done is closed windows of pitchers getting them out, like windows of opportunity. Swung a little bit too much, expanded his zone, that's gone. You still can get him out. He's human. But what he's done is gone to the next level now, and it's struck fear in every pitcher. They no longer can approach him the same way. Soto's the same way. He's not going to chase. And Otani can be in so many different ways. When he's a full-time pitcher and a hitter, maybe his legs aren't as big of a game like we saw last year, stealing 50 bases. But it's interesting to watch the progression. Now, fair or not, Judge is going to only be judged in the postseason.
All right, I got a couple of things here for you. If you're casting actors to play you in the John Smoltz movie. Now, I've got some ideas.
Yeah, throw some at me.
Okay, I've got Jason Statham.
That's good. Not sure.
He's a big action hero.
Okay.
You'd like him.
Okay.
John Malkovich.
That's a good one.
Bruce Willis.
Getting closer.
J.K. Simmons. He was in Whiplash.
I'm leaning towards Bruce Willis.
Okay, so Bruce Willis. And then you could play yourself.
I do have some acting roles. I have been in a couple of movies.
What were you in?
I was in The Change-Up. But I got cut, so I didn't.
Well, then you weren't in it.
Well, I still get paid.
But you weren't in it.
I'm getting $20 every 2 weeks.
So what else were you?
I was in. Now I'm drawing a blank. Great movie about. Now I'm embarrassed. The baseball with the bad legs. Great story. Oh my gosh, he had the 2 braces. He made it to AAA. Oh, it's an awesome movie. I'm an old-time announcer. I've got the hat on.
Yeah.
Man, this is embarrassing because I did it. And I kind of killed it. I mean, it was
Oh,
a
you
good
did?
role. Yeah, I watched it, and I was pleased with my role.
Let's see. How about this? If I said you can start a guy, bench a guy, or cut a guy. Albert Pujols, start, bench, or cut. Alex Rodriguez, start, bench, or cut. Or Joe Mauer, start, bench, or cut.
Wow.
So who's starting?
You're good at this game. I'm starting Albert Pujols.
Okay. Benching?
I am going to bench Joe Mauer and cut A-Rod only because I already have a right-handed hitter starting.
Okay.
So I wouldn't need another right-hander.
Yeah.
So I got a lefty on the bench.
Okay. All right. Yes, Paulie.
The movie was called The Hill, co-starring John Smoltz.
The Hill, absolutely. Thank you for saving me a very
I get to
embarrassing.
save?
Yeah, you get to save.
Oh,
Thank you.
It was The Hill. Great story. Dennis Quaid and just
people
a great
say
story.
that I look a little like Dennis Quaid.
I can see that.
Yeah. Handsome.
I can see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very distinguished.
My final question to you, and it didn't happen very often for you. When you go to the mound and you know you don't have anything.
Yeah.
What is that feeling like of really trying to pretend or fool?
Yeah, and that's what I had to learn. I was awful at it. I'm a guy that wears his emotions. Passion bucket. We've talked about that. I've had an empty passion bucket before, and I've emptied it. But I had to learn from Glavine how to fake it. And I would have a bullpen session. Sometimes it'd be phenomenal. I'd go out, and I'm like, what happened? And it'd be the opposite. So I learned that the bullpen session was just a warm-up, and to get in the game, you had to be when a pitcher stands on a mound and hitter's at the plate, someone has the edge, and they know it. The key is not to convey to the other person who has the edge, and that is a huge key, and some young players do it really easily. 1996, last start, World Series against Andy Pettitte. I was exhausted, closing in on 300 innings, and I had nothing, zero. And I kept coming in the innings. I always Glav was my guy to kind of like, Glav, I got nothing. And he goes, trick him. Come in the second inning. I said, I can't throw my slider. I got nothing. Trick him. He said that 8 times. And I lost 1-0, but I got through 8 innings when there was no reason based on the way I felt. So I had to learn it, and I was bad early and pretty good late.
But that's pitching as opposed to throwing.
Yeah, and that's what we've talked about before. And these guys are not going to be given that opportunity anymore. They don't have it, they're out. And they're fine with it. Management's fine with it. But anybody who loses velocity or gets hurt doesn't have the opportunity to continue to pitch with a new toolbox. Like the CC Sabathias, when they lose their stuff, those guys are gone. Like he was a 96, 97 mile-an-hour stud, learned how to pitch at 90. Kershaw be the last one we'll ever see. And that saddens me for a sport that I played and love. And I hope we turn that around. I hope we find a way to not be so addicted to the radar gun and velocity.
Nobody would teach Clayton Kershaw's motion.
Nope. And that's what makes it unique and great. And I think that's gone too. Like you see the robotic sidestep, like everyone's pitching out of the stretch.
But it's like golfers trying to be Tiger. It's all cookie cutter.
Yeah, but at least golf, Jim Furyk, everyone's got a repeatable different swing. And when you take the windup out of the rotation because it's simpler to pitch out of the stretch, you're losing something of which is a luxury. They let you pitch out of the windup. I don't understand why guys can't learn how to pitch out of the windup and use that as a weapon instead of just being in the stretch and seeing it like that.
John Smoltz, who guarantees that he will win this tournament.
Whoa! I did. We don't have a timestamp on that, but I guaranteed I will be the oldest winner to ever win this tournament.
You were very cocky yesterday.
I was.
I didn't even say hello to you, and you said, if this putter's working, I'm winning this thing. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm in a good place, but I've been in a good place before, and this tournament does some funky things to you, but I will be the oldest player to ever win this tournament. Let's get it done sooner than later.
Thank you, John.
My pleasure.